I'd like to call this meeting to order. Could we have a roll call, please?
Councilman Anderson.
Present.
Councilman Shelton.
Here.
Mayor Salee.
Present.
Vice Mayor Davis.
Present.
Councilman Williams.
Present.
All present.
All right. If we could all rise for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Do we have any additions or corrections to the agenda tonight?
No changes.
No changes. Do we have a motion and a second to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion by the council? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign.
5 yes votes, motion carries.
That brings us to item 2. We have a recognition of Coordinator Officer Mike Lee and the Soapbox Derby winners. If Officer Lee could come to the...
That one's fine. That's
This one's fine.
that'd be-
Thank you. Mayor and council, I'd like to take just a few minutes and present you with some information on our Soapbox Derby and then introduce this year's winners of our local Soapbox Derby. The Soapbox Derby is based on certain core values and goals that have not changed since its beginning in 1934. These are values that I firmly believe in and as a police officer see slipping away in today's society. These values are to promote families working together, to teach children basic skills of workmanship along with the spirit of competition and the perseverance to continue a project to completion. Family time is spent together building the cars and lifelong bonds are developed as the Derby experience is shared. The Soapbox Derby is a program that will provide cherished memories for a lifetime. Most of all, the Derby is about fun, family, and sportsmanship. This was our 6th year in the Soapbox Derby. During this time, our Derby has won numerous awards reflecting the quality of our local race program. These awards are chosen from approximately 200 race cities from around the world and are awarded by the National Control Board of the All-American Soapbox Derby in Akron, Ohio. Our first year in the Derby was in 2002. Our first year, we won an award that's usually only given to 3 race cities out of the entire group, and that was the Outstanding Race City Award. In 2004, our second year in the Derby, we again won the Outstanding Race City Award 2 years in a row. In 2004, I won the Outstanding Derby Director and we were inducted into the 75 and over club, making us the 10th largest race city in the world. In 2005, we again won the Outstanding Race City Award and again was recognized for the 75 and over club, making us the 7th largest race city in the world. We were that year the largest Masters division in the world. We had that typically mean we'd had the most master cars of any race city there was. In 2006, we again were recognized for the 75 and over club, staying at the 7th largest race city in the world. If you research the history of the Derby, I believe Cookeville, Tennessee is the only race city that has won these awards back to back to back that many years in a row. So that tells us that we're on the right track with our program. In 2007, this year, we were again recognized for the 75 and over club. We stayed at the 7th largest race city, just one car short of moving up to the 6th largest race city. And Akron, Ohio beat us out of that by one car. I'd like to count their cars. We also received another award, but before I tell you about that award, I'd like to recognize some people that helped us to achieve this award. Is the Police Athletic League Board of Directors here? Could y'all please stand? This is our official board of directors that govern all the decisions of our local soapbox derby. Steve Copeland, Cumberland Insurance Agency. Representative from Jackson Bank Trust, Jimmy Hull, Regional President. We have a member from the Kiwanis, Ray Ware, Kiwanis Club. Rachel Moses from Cookeville Breakfast Rotary Club. Cindy Lee, Cookeville Kitchen Sales. Lee Carney, American Classic Mantle Company. David Rowland of Rowland Advertising. Scott Turney of Turney Financial Services. Bob Seeley, Quality Fiberglass. These people are local business owners that are major financial supporters of our derby along with the Police Athletic League. They co-sponsor and help us support our derby. There was 82 local businesses, and we have them as far as Brentwood, Tennessee, and next year we're going as far east as Oak Ridge is coming, families coming here to race. But they represent the surrounding counties, and they helped us achieve this award. It's called the Community Achievement Award we won this year. This award is the most highly respected award a race city can achieve. It is rarely given. Our regional director, Norm Perry from Titusville, Florida, he's been wanting to come to our race, and he finally got to come this year and could not believe what he seen. He had to make a report on it to the All-American Soapbox Derby National Control Board, and this is a statement that he put in his report that he found here. For a street race, Cookeville, Tennessee runs the safest track design, most efficient, and well-organized race in the world. They have the whole community supporting their race. They are the perfect example for all race cities to follow. Thanks to all the people that I just recognized, they helped us put this. We won about everything we can win. Some of it numerous times.
Now, before he goes any further, I'm gonna stop him a second, because I'm gonna give you the Paul Harvey version now, because he's too modest to say this himself. But I've been involved in this derby a few times. Had children racing in it, and have been to Akron with him when my son won. And I'm going to tell you, there's nobody that works as hard at putting on and organizing and making sure that something works as hard as that man right there does, Lieutenant Lee. And because of that, and he read you the awards that were won by our city. Well, they were won by our city because of him. But one step further, which he didn't say this, but he has just been named the regional director, one of 12 in the world, for the Soapbox Derby. He's going to be in charge of Tennessee, Kentucky, and North Carolina, running these races and making sure that they're organized and safe, just like the one here is. And that's a testament to what Mike Lee has done. And I want to personally thank you for that. But I just wanted people to know the rest of the story. And all these awards were not possible without what you've done. So thank you.
Well, now comes the fun part. I'd like to introduce this year's winners. And in the stock division was Sarah Eldridge. Come on up, Sarah. She represented us in Akron, Ohio this year, and this is her trophy. On local level, Akron don't give this nice prize, do they? They just give college scholarships.
And we would like to present you with a key to the city of Cookeville for all your hard work. We certainly appreciate you representing our community.
Thank you. Our super stock division, and this will be your last chance to get to see him because this young man has won all 3 divisions in Cookeville. He's won the stock, super stock, and masters, and he's the only one that's done that, and may be the only one that'll do that for years to come. Lucas Gunnels. And our Masters Division winner, Luke Robertson. The winners, they're wearing their champion shirts. For some reason, the Derby put champion on the back this year. But they brought back a little souvenir from Akron they'd like to present all y'all with. Y'all go ahead and give them to them if you'd like to.
Thank you. Did you get your key to the city? Y'all need to save those keys, because when Mike Lee pulls you over about 7 or 8 years from now,
If they drive a
Present
car like
those
they do the
keys.
Derby cars, I may not catch them.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
All of the first place winners got the trophy.
Okay. Well, why don't you guys turn around so the camera can see you? I don't think the camera can see you, so that everybody, the thousands of people that are watching tonight,
All
will be able to see tens of thousands, I think, will be able to see you guys. So,
Let's give them another round of
congratulations.
Thank you very much. We appreciate all of the hard work that goes into the Soapbox Derby, and we certainly enjoy all the trophies and the awards. Brings us to old business, and you all are welcome to stay for our meeting. We would encourage you to. We would encourage you to stay. Don't feel like you have to. I was on the Leisure Services Advisory Committee several years ago, and we began talking about Soapbox Derby, and we were thinking, where will we have that race? And the idea was suggested, well, you know, this is a great hill out here in front of Borden's Jewelry down the, and it's a good thing there's people that know what they're doing. We would have probably had some kid hurt coming down that hill there, but brings us to old business, item 3. Consider approval of minutes of council meetings held July the 5th and the 19th, 2007. Do we have a motion and a second to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion by the council? I know there was, the last meeting, we weren't able to approve the July 5th meetings. There was some lengthy discussion, and I think we've gotten everything in there that needed to be. Any discussion by the council? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign.
5 yes votes, motion carries.
Thank you. Brings us to item 4, consider on second and final reading ordinance 070721, adjusting rate of compensation for city council. Sponsor, Mr. Jim Shipley.
Mayor and council, this is the second reading of the ordinance. I'll be happy to answer any questions. I think we covered it at first reading.
All right, do we have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion by the council? Any comments from the audience? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign.
5 yes votes, motion carries.
Item 5, consider on second and final reading ordinance 070612, annexation of Bunker Hill Road and Lovelady Road area. Sponsor Mr. James Mills.
Mayor and council members, this ordinance annexes about 564 acres of property south of the current corporate limits along Bunker Hill and Lovelady Roads. It includes the South Creek and Southern Woods subdivisions. A plan of services was approved by the council at last meeting. The proposed annexation with RS20 zoning and the plan of services have been approved by the Planning Commission and recommended by the Planning Department. We've had no calls or comments since first reading.
Do we have a motion to approve?
So
So
moved.
moved.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion by the council? Any comments from the audience? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign.
5 yes votes, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Mills. New business. Item 6, consider resolution 070812, initial resolution of indebtedness by the city of Cookeville, Tennessee to provide funding for certain public works projects and et cetera. Sponsor Mr. Mike Davidson.
Mayor and council members, this resolution will authorize the city to incur indebtedness not to exceed, it's actually $3.2 million. Originally, I'd hoped to have this bond issue at a little over $3 million, and with some changes to possible right-of-way issues on Fairground Lane, we've upped this amount for this bond issue up to $3.2 million. Some of the projects that we're looking at that we've kind of discussed over the last few months, I have them listed and for you to review. But some of these are underway, such as acquisition of right-of-way for Fairground Lane, improvements over on 7th Street. But the total right now for this bond issue would be $3.2 million, and I'd recommend your approval.
Do we have a motion and a second to approve?
Move approval. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion by the council?
Just a point of clarification now, any of these projects or anything that this money is spent for will come back to us for a vote before it is spent, correct?
Correct. Fairground Lane, those of you all have already voted on that contract, I believe, on,
Was that was one of the numbers that had changed here. Is something changed since we originally voted on it as far as the total
not the
number?
contract itself. There's some of the right-of-way issues out there is what we're looking at now.
Okay. But anything else that is spent out of this money, we will vote on each time it is spent, correct? For whatever project, we'll vote on it.
Correct. The gymnasium, that's the additional funding there. You see I have that listed $100,000. That's to finalize the contract we have on that, because I think we have 1.15 million in that county, the grant, so we need another $100,000 to finish the gymnasium down there. That's what that is. The rest of those items will come back to you, such as the dispatch console for the police department, outdoor message center, those type of things. The west side parking lot is in there because the Cityscape received a $10,000 grant. That expires within a year, I believe, and
That'll be done by Public Works.
that'll be done in-house.
That won't come back before the council, and the
Right.
Dogwood Park expansion, that's just to tear down the
Tear it down.
buildings and bring in some dirt, and that's all that's for.
Capital outlay items that we actually.
Yes.
Would be the
Yeah.
dispatch
purchase.
console, that outdoor message
Fire
center.
truck,
Right.
the
Fire truck.
bleachers, the message center, those things will come
Those
back.
things would be the ones
Okay.
that would come back to
Yes.
you, yes.
Might also point out that we're asking you to authorize $3.2 million, but if we don't need that much money, we won't draw it
We
down.
will draw it down.
So,
Do we have a motion and a second on the floor? We do. Any discussion by the council? Any comments? The only comment I might, the purchase right-of-way Veterans Drive, that's basically from our settlement with that issue, and once that's paid, we're done with that
We're
situation,
finished with-
correct?
Yes.
No more buying right-of-ways, curbing things, whatever.
Not to my knowledge, you know.
Okay.
no.
All right. Any discussion by the audience? Seeing no further discussion, we'll call for a vote. All those in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign.
5 yes votes, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Davidson. Item 7, consider resolution 070813, delegating authority to negotiate and accept payments in lieu of taxes to the Cookeville Industrial Development Board Sponsor, Mr. Jim Shipley.
Mayor and council, this resolution, you're authorized under state law to delegate the authority to the Industrial Development Board to accept it and negotiate in lieu of tax payments or to abate taxes. This has never been done, probably should have been done when they established the Industrial Development Board. Oric has moved here and provided a lot of jobs, and they are receiving in lieu of tax payments, tax abatement. They asked for council ratification of that, so that basically spurred this resolution, which will give the Industrial Development Board that authority, and I would recommend your approval.
Do we have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and our second. Any discussion by the council? Any discussion by the audience? Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign.
5 yes votes, motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Shipley. Item 8, set a date for a public hearing on ordinance 070822, amending the official street map. Sponsor, Kathy McLean.
September the 6th, 2007, 6 p.m.
Sure about that?
Are we good there?
Mm-hmm.
Item 9,
It's
consider...
August, isn't it? Yeah, okay.
Consider approval of emergency repair of pump motor at water plant. Sponsor, Ronnie Kelly.
Mayor and council, we have, I need approval to pay an invoice on emergency repair to one of our 700 horse motors at our water plant. Had a internal cooling line failure. We had to get the motor manufacturer to come out to Chattanooga. It happened during that time of high water demand, so we had to get them up here now and get it done. We've received the bill. The total bill is $16,478 and would recommend your approval.
Do we have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion by the council? Let's make sure our water tastes good.
Spotty, it's spotty.
Spotty. Any comments from the audience? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign.
Thank you.
5 yes votes, motion carries.
I'm not
Thank you, Mr. Kelly.
going to change my vote or anything like that, but I just wonder, how old was that water pump?
They were all basically pumps that were, the motor was when the plant was put in.
Okay, all right. So we got our money's worth out.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're just motors, and there's usually not a lot of things happen to them. They'll run, but they do need maintenance every so often.
Okay. I just was curious.
Item 10, consider approval of purchase of X26 tasers, digital in-car video systems, and 2006 Ford Crown Victoria Police Department. Sponsor, Chief Bob Terry.
Mayor and council, the police department is requesting to buy 7 tasers. This is a budgeted item, and I'd ask your approval.
Do we have a motion and a second?
So moved. Second.
We have our motion and our second. Is there any discussion by the council? Any comments from the audience? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign.
5 yes votes, motion carries.
Mayor and council, we also are requesting to buy 14 digital MVRs. Price of those is $55,930. This will go get us halfway to being completely through. The 14 this year, hopefully 14 next year will get us where we need to be. So we'd ask your approval for that also.
Do we have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion by the council?
What will that mean to your department as far as when you go to this digital as opposed to the VHS? As
It's like going from
efficiency-wise, or... Well, I know it's
analog
technology,
to digital.
but
The quality of the digital cameras is pristine as compared to the old ones. When we get them, we're already starting to do that, but we have a server where these things land and they're stored. A lot of times you'll have lawyers, different people like that will want to come in and actually see a video, so instead of giving them a tape, you either burn them a DVD or you can just set them down in front of the computer and play it for them. Supervisors will be able to go in and monitor the officer's activities on the stops. Just a wide range of things that will be beneficial. These also, they monitor the inside of the car and the back seat as well as the front of the car. So, and I think it'll actually cover a couple more angles that we're not doing.
Is that why it's called a video mirror?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
And I might also add, the old ones were a little bit difficult to move from one car to the next. These are considerably easier. They actually mount on a rearview mirror. So to change the car, you take the mirror off and put it on another car.
Does the bid, I mean, installation and not everything's,
No, that's just the purchase of the cameras. I might also add that the installation is not nearly as difficult as with the old system either. So these things should last for quite some time.
Installation will be done locally.
Yeah, they also, another feature they have, sometime we'll bring one, also has sort of like a TiVo feature on it. And it records like 15 seconds out, whether you're actually, once you hit the record button, it started capturing like 15 seconds of stuff beforehand. So I guess, you know, if you're writing a traffic ticket, you can tag it, and when you saw it, if you didn't have time to hit the button to capture it, you've caught it in time to save it.
interesting. Any further comments by the council? Any comments by the audience? Seeing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign.
5 yes votes, motion carries.
Got one more, Bob?
Yes. The next one we have is we'd like to purchase a used Crown Victoria from Heritage Ford. The car is, we're trying to buy the car for $13,950. The retail value of that car is $18,000. We'd ask for your approval.
Do we have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion by the council?
Do they have any more? Do they have any more at that price?
I don't know. No, they didn't. We'd like to have them though.
Any comments from the audience? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign.
5 yes votes, motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Chief. Item 11, consider awarding the following bids. 11A, furniture for council conference room, general department, sponsor Mr. Jim Shipley.
These are for, there's a conference table, credenza, and a cabinet, and executive chairs. Executive chairs are for the conference room and for the council bench. The low bid is Office Mart on each item, and I would recommend your approval. And this should complete the purchases relative to the renovation of the council room.
All right. Do we have a motion and a second?
Move approval.
I have our motion and our second. Any discussion by the council? Any comments from the audience? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign.
5 yes votes, motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Shipley. Item 11B, vehicle servicing, all departments, sponsor Mike Davis.
Mayor and council members, we recently took bids on just routine vehicle servicing, which is basically oil change for vehicles. We only received one bid. It was Express Lube, which had the bid again this year. Their bid was even a nickel cheaper than it was last year. And we contacted a couple of other places, and they just said they couldn't at that price afford to bid on this. They didn't think there was enough money in it for them. So the only bid we got was Express Lube, and I'd recommend your approval.
Do we have a motion and a second?
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion by the council? Any comments from the audience? Seeing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, like sign.
5 yes votes, motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Davidson. Item 11C, 30-yard recycling containers and front-loading garbage truck, Public Works Department, sponsor Mr. Greg Brown.
Mayor and council, we advertised and received bids for these two items. The first one, recycling containers. These are two of them. Low bid of $10,156. Would recommend that. We received a grant that Mr. Andrews obtained for us that pays 60% of this. So the cost to the city for this will just be $4,034.
Wow, that's great. Do we have a motion? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay. Well, you got any more questions on that? I was going to go to the front load truck.
My wife appreciates the additional containers. She's having a hard time getting her recycling in the containers.
If we could spend a little extra and tag the really nice signage for which on those.
Well, we start out with that, but somehow they keep disappearing. But we'll try to make them a little more permanent.
Okay.
The other item is a front-load sanitation truck. I'd recommend the low bidder meeting specs of Stringfellow of $187,847.
All right. Do we have a motion to approve?
Move approval.
And a second? Motion and a second. Any comments by the council? Any comments from the audience?
I have a question. Greg, these containers, they won't be replacing, they'll be additional, right?
No, they're replacing. We do not have any other sites.
Okay,
These will go in the South Jefferson location, and we'll pull those and refurbish those
okay.
and replace some other ones that are in need. But right now, the sites we have are the only ones we have permission to place these. So
Okay.
this won't be an additional location.
So you said, when you say you refurbish them, you're gonna take them back after you fix them up, or are you gonna sell them? What are you doing?
No, we'll replace other ones that are in bad shape,
Oh.
that are in worse shape than these, and then we'll sell the other ones.
The site located on Jefferson at Ferguson, that business has come in and, isn't that
Where?
at Ferguson?
No,
Next to
this
the-
is
Is this the big?
south of the movie theater.
Right, right.
Okay.
Just, that company, I've noticed they've done a lot of work fixing up their parking lot and, bringing in new business there, and it's, I'm not sure what the arrangement is with us having our containers there, but if special effort could be made to, keep those picked up and cleaned around there would be nice.
Okay.
Any further comments by the council? Comments from the audience? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign.
5 yes votes, motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Item 11D, wood poles for the electric department, Mr. Tony Peak.
Mayor and council, we've evaluated bids on 40-foot wood poles. Recommend Thomason Lumber as a low bidder, meeting specs $263 each. Recommend your approval.
We have a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion by the council? Any comments from the audience? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign.
5 yes votes, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Peak. This time we have our hearings of citizens and/or delegations. If there's anyone that would like to come to the lectern for 30 minutes, be glad to listen to your ideas and comments about things happening in the city. There's also time if any of the council would like to make any announcements or comments. One quick comment again, just Lieutenant Mike Lee, I think our police department and our community is very lucky to have him and all the hard work he does organizing that. I think it's a fantastic event for our community.
There's a lot of other city departments involved with that, besides the police department, legal services, and they do a lot of work. I guess one thing he did say that should have been said is that none of that happens without everybody's sanction and approval. It just doesn't come out there. Somebody has to say yes or no, and that's direct credit to you all.
Thank you. I know, and I even think, Public Works even, I think we've gotten our roads smooth, everything's looking good over there for where we race, and so it is a whole community event. We're very lucky to have that. Any other comments or anything? Ricky? No? Seeing nothing, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So adjourned.
No, I was just checking, make sure you look like you were looking at something. Okay, all right. I'm just making sure before I close.